Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing kind of, I guess you could call it a makeup 101. I got this idea because my sister asked me to do a video on contouring and highlighting because she's very old school when it comes to makeup, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know how to do literally any of that. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and also turn on the bell so that way you get notified every time I upload a brand new video, and let's get started. Oh yeah, I got a new sign. It's pretty cute, huh? Got it from Spencer's. If you're a child, don't read that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and preface because I do know I have some new people on here, which thank you, welcome, love to see it. I am not a makeup artist. I am not trained. I am not a professional. These are just things that I have picked up, whether it be on doing whatever to my face or from what I've seen from makeup artists. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and also know that what works for my face probably won't work for yours. And if it does, that's cool, you know? I do not have a cream contour, like a liquid contour. I do have some powder options. Like this is actually technically a bronzer. This is Tantastic from Marc Jacobs, which you actually can't get Marc Jacobs anymore, I don't think, so I'm sorry. That's the color of it. It's very cool toned for a bronzer. Then I also have, this is MAC. It's called Taupe. I do believe it's actually a blush, not a contour, but same difference. That's the color difference between these two. And then I also have this palette that I got from TJ Maxx, $4. Figured anybody could go get it, so it's like different price ranges, if they still have it, I guess I should say. But this is very, very, very cool toned. Let me hold up. Like, this is the MAC one. This one. They're damn near the same color, to be honest with you. Then we can compare it to the Tantastic. I guess I should start explaining more in depth. Fair warning, this will most likely be a long video. I am thinking about doing a series of different steps or different things that most normal people don't know how to do, but they want to know how to do, if that makes sense. Or just please bear with me in this video. I am very anxious today, and I don't know why. So I'm going to be out of breath and a little bit of everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for that. Okay, so kind of the basics. You want if you're doing a contour, like you actually want to contour, not bronze, but contour, like reshape your face, you're supposed to go with a cool tone, powder, cream, whatever it may be, because most shadows are cool toned. They aren't warm. So to go with, let me find my bronzer. This is the little bronzer that I got from the Dollar Tree, and then this is the MAC. And can you see the color difference? Like how this one puts off warmth, which is what you would want a bronzer for, and then this one's very cool toned, kind of ashy, because it's for contouring. With the cool tone contour, you want to put it in the areas that you want. Luca's playing, so you're gonna hear that. You want to put it in areas where you're trying to like push back, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to make a shadow. But from what I learned from Robert Welsh, wherever you put a shadow, you want to offset it with a light color, which would be your highlight. Whether that be a sparkly, shimmery highlight for this side of your face, or just how you highlight underneath your eyes to make it brighter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step off camera. I'm going to go ahead and do my base, because all of the contours that I have are powder. I don't have a cream contour. But I'm going to go ahead and step off camera, do my base, and I'm going to come back for concealer, which would be my highlighting process. Okay, so I went in and applied my primer. I went in with the liquid silk canvas from Tatcha, and I used the Morphe Filter Effect Soft Focused Foundation. And now it's time to conceal, which for me, I use this step to brighten. You can go with two different options for brightening, as in like highlighting brightening. You can do something that is your skin tone color and then just go in with a more brightening effect powder, or you could go in with a concealer that is lighter to go ahead and brighten as you are concealing, if that makes any sense. I have two different concealers right here. I have the Patrick Star One Size, and then I also have Hourglass, and you can see the color difference. This one is more towards my skin tone, and then this one is the lighter one. Now I'm going to do, on one eye, I'm going to use the One Size to show you what my skin tone-ish concealer would be like, and then I'll go in with powder, and then I'll show you on the other side what it looks like to do the brighter concealer instead of going through with the brightening powder. Okay, so taking the One Size, I'm going to put it right in here. With highlighting, you want to put it in the areas that you want to come forward. I personally like to use a sponge on my other under eyes because I feel like it helps take away the extra product, so that way it's not like a butt ton of product sitting down there to crease. Gives it less of an opportunity to crease. So taking the tip of my sponge, I'm going to first start in this outer corner, I'm going to start on the inner corner towards the bottom, and I'm going to start blending out these edges, and then I start slowly working my way up, so that way I can get like a seamless blend right here, and you don't have to press hard. I do a stippling motion, and you want to try to just bounce on top of the concealer so you don't move it. If you do want to move it, then you can just keep going with wherever you want it to be. Like I always take it on the inner corner of my eye because I have a very dark inner corner. And that looks pretty good blended. I have a fuzzy on my face. Now I'm just going to take the point again, and we're going to start blending out this outer corner portion and just continuing it up towards your temple. And I do take whatever is left over on the sponge and I stamp just in the middle a little bit. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can get a closer look up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the highlighting concealer on this side to show you what that looks like if you were to just highlight with the concealer. I do the same steps. I put it on the inner corner. Try not to put too much. I'm trying to get better at that because I do add way too much sometimes. And then right here. Okay, so already you can see that this is a bright concealer. It's lighter than my skin tone. Normally with highlighting, you only want to go about maybe 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. You don't want to go too crazy with it because then it's just going to look like wapow, unless you do want the very drastic, dramatic change in your skin color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do like I did the last time. I'm going to start blending the bottom edge of where we placed it to start getting that seamless blend into my foundation, and then I'm going to work my way up. Now because this one is the brighter one, it's not the skin tone colored, where you put it, it's going to be a lot more noticeable than if you were to fudge up and dot your face somewhere with this one. Alright, working on the outer. If you want your sponge or need your sponge to be smaller, most of the time you can pinch them and it makes it smaller so it's more targeted. And then like the other side, I'm going to take the residue that's on the sponge and I'm going to do in the middle. This one's a lot more brighter. You can tell the difference. This one's going to actually do something with highlighting. But when I do this, you can actually double down and you can do the bright concealer and then also use a brightening powder over top of it, and it's like a double whammy. Or you can just do this and set with a translucent powder. If you don't know, translucent means that it has no pigment behind it. Like the powder may look, let me find a good one on my desk. It looks a hot mess, so please ignore it. But this one is, this one is translucent, but as you can see, it has like a white-ish base to it, like a cream base to it. But when you put it on, there's no color. The whole point of translucent is so that it doesn't change the color of what you've already put down. Now, just to kind of keep things normal, I'm going to go through the rest of my face and I'm going to use my lighter concealer to highlight. What I like to do is I put highlight on my forehead, down my nose, a little bit on my upper lip, and a little bit on my chin. The reason why I use highlight up there is because I do have lip filler, if you didn't know. And sometimes, because of the bulk of volume right here, it can make it look like you have a mustache in certain lighting. And then just for the nose in general, if you do a skinny line of highlight down the nose, most of the time you don't have to contour your nose. You can double down, like I said, and do the highlight down the nose and then do the contour on the sides, and it makes it look like super snatched. But that's like not the journey I normally do. And then for my forehead, I do a little bit on my forehead, like right here, and then I'll go through with like contour or bronzer and use it to help make my forehead look smaller. So we're going to start with the forehead, which is what I normally do. I put like a little flower or sunset, sunrise, whatever shape up there. And then I normally keep it like this, and I'll go down my nose. Ideally, you want to try to keep this line straight, but it never happens. The skinnier you make this line, the more skinny your nose will look. But I don't necessarily care too much about it. I don't feel like my nose is too thick. It's just sometimes it gets lost in the sauce with like the foundation and all that stuff. So kind of like that. My nose inherently is a little crooked, so it's not going to look the greatest, but it's okay. And I just put some right here. Sometimes I even put a little bit in my nose right there. Don't know why, to be honest with you. I think mostly it's just because I want the extra coverage right there. Because if you can't tell, you can't really see it. But I have like a scar under my nose. And I just take the sponge again. Most of the time I use the butt of it for my forehead and my missing body parts here, my chin. And I just kind of tap it in. You want to keep it in the area that you placed it, so that way you are highlighting the area that you're wanting to highlight and not just like your whole chin looks like white, you know? I like to use damp sponges most of the time because it helps make it look more skin-like, as opposed to with a brush. Sometimes it can make it look a little bit more drying. And then I do the pinch technique, and I just go down the center of my nose, trying to be gentle. But because we are showcasing highlighting and contouring in this video, I can kind of go a little crazy with it and just reinforce with a contour. I feel like most people nowadays have moved away from highlighting and contouring. They've all kind of steered more towards the like natural radius. Gosh, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. I'm gonna this video, man. But they want to look more radiant and glowy. In this part where I highlight, I only place it in the areas that I do, so that way I'm not using too much product. But I do take it all right here, kind of towards my smile lines, and all over my upper lip, just to help with the shadow from my lip filler and to give me more coverage right here. And then if you put highlight in your smile lines, it helps make them not look so deep. Okay, so for the highlighted side, I'm going to go ahead and use, you can use your sponge with powder, or you could use a brush. You can use something like my little, which I guess they don't sell these anymore, but like a little puff. Like I got these from Tati Beauty that I use all the time. Today though, to keep it simple so you guys don't have to have like a butt ton of products, I'm just going to use my sponge. Make sure the creases are gone. I'm just going to dip my damp sponge into my translucent powder. And I'm going to stamp underneath my eyes. I did blot some off on the back of my hand, so it's not too drying. Okay, and then normally I would go through and everywhere I put concealer, I would do this. Normally, if I were to use the Patrick Star one, I would still remove all the creases. And I would still go in with my translucent powder, just to show you. I'm going to do this so I could show you guys what it's going to look like if you don't highlight underneath. Okay. So, stamping on the translucent powder. Looking at my under eyes, you can tell the difference. This one's brighter, and then this one is more skin tone. Now, if you like this look, run with it. Go with it. Looks really good. But you can also take something like this. This is my Jaclyn Brightening and Setting Palette. It has all these different lighter shades in it. You can see in comparison to my skin tone that these are lighter than my actual skin tone. I'm going to still use my sponge because Jaclyn does say that she uses her sponge when she uses this. So I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to dip into, I think I'm just going to use the one I normally use, which is this one right here. Just rubbing into this. You get a good bit on your sponge. Again, I'm going to pat it on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to start stamping where I want it to be brighter. So if we're following the new trend of how to like lift your face, you would do the inner corner of your eye. And then you would do the outer corner. So I'm going to do the pinch, and I'm just going to stamp it on the outer corner. Pretty much from the corner of my eye to my brow. And I am doing it kind of heavy so you guys can see the difference. Okay. So that is how this is looking so far. This is the brightening concealer with translucent powder. This is the regular concealer with, we did set it with translucent powder as well, but then we went in with brightening powder so that way we can brighten just in the areas that we want to brighten. Okay, now I'm just going to take my sponge with the brightening powder and I'm going to go through and set the center of my face. Doing the pinch, and I'm going to slowly stamp this onto my nose just to set but also brighten these areas. Okay, I'm also going to use this on my chin. You see how that makes my chin, this part, come forward more? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my translucent powder. I don't remember if I said this earlier, but I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder. You can pick it up at Walmart. Super cheap, super great. I'm going to take my velour puff, is what they're normally called, I do believe. I'm going to dip into my translucent powder, just like this. And then I'm going to start stamping it all over my face. Normally, I would go in with my cream bronzer. You guys know I love the Jaclyn one. And I would bronze my face, but because we are doing contouring, I normally like to do the contour before I do the bronze. I'm just going to go in and set my whole face. I think what I'm going to use today is I'm going to use the MAC one because I believe, if I remember correctly, it shows up more on my skin tone than my other ones, so that way you guys can fully see a difference of what it looks like. I think I'm gonna try to use this brush, I'm not sure. It's like this. There's my hand for size reference. And that's it compared to my face. It fits kind of perfectly in this little socket of where like my cheekbone sits. Normally with contouring, you want to sculpt your face, you know what I mean? Like you want to, I don't know, like there are people that want to change the whole structure of their face, but most people want to just accentuate what they already have. Like most of the time they'll go underneath and carve out their jaw, or they want their nose to look a little bit slimmer, so they do that. Okay, so the first thing I normally go towards is I do my cheeks. I always start towards the back up here, and then like if you move your head around and try to like see, you can kind of see it right there. You can see the shadow underneath my cheekbone if you just move your head around and look at the lighting, and to see where exactly it hits. You could also like when I smile, you see how my cheeks lift, and then you can see kind of like a shape right here. And that's normally what I follow. If you, from what I've seen, if you have a long face and you want to make it look a little bit shorter, a little bit more round, you can go kind of like right here and then up a little bit with your contour. If you have a super wide face and you're trying to make it look more narrow, you would keep your colors towards the outside. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the color. You can always hit your brush on your mirror to dust off any extra product, so you can always build up more product and not have to worry about like, oh shit, there's a brown shit stain on my face now, what do I do? So normally you start, or I start back here and try to be very light-handed with it. Putting down the translucent powder all over my face also helps with it not being immediate like bam darkness. But I normally just try to follow my cheekbone, but like I keep it up here. I don't bring it down like this because I do have a little bit more of a rounder face. So in that fashion of keeping it right here, I just wiggle back and forth. And I'm a very firm believer in less is more. Like when I look straight forward, you can already start to see a shape forming. You see what I mean? Like right here. I'm going to do one side of my face so you guys can see the difference. Picking up just a little bit more and just tucking it right here. I would say I stop it probably about right here. Like this is the apples of my cheek. I'm trying not to dust my face on accident. This is the apples of my cheek, so I stop like right before the apple. I offered to bring my sister in and do her makeup so I could show her and you, and that way she'll have like a video log of like how the fuck do I do this, but she didn't really want to come on camera and I don't blame her. Okay, taking a little bit more. I take it to, like you can see right here where that highlight cuts off. I take it right above that to further the, how Robert says, if you have highlight here, it's better to take a contour like a little bit above it and a little bit below it, so it can actually show dimension and it makes it more amplified. I really hope that I'm making sense for you guys, because I want to try to break it down as much as possible without being like super redundant with what I'm saying. Yeah, that's pretty good for the side. Normally I do take it up here as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I do take it on top as well to shorten my forehead some. And these are all if I contour. I have not been contouring. But my sister said that she bought a bunch of products and wants to know how the hell to use it. So, it's kind of how we came up with this. Now, when I'm looking straight forward, can you see the difference? Because it's not pow in your face, but there's a really good difference to show you how my face over here just looks flat, but all like not flat as in the shape, but like flat as in there's no dimension. But my face also looks rounder on this side. As to this side, you can see that there's like a cheekbone there, and it gives the illusion that I don't have a round ass face. Now I'm just going to pick up a little bit more. Each time I'm picking up more though, I am dusting it off because like I said, we don't want to just like and be stuck with that. Now as far as the jawline goes, I have been trying out what Michaela said Mario did on her, because he is a very if you don't know, Mario is a very famous makeup artist who does like Kim Kardashian and all them's makeup and does phenomenal. What he does is he takes, I think he actually just does it with bronzer, but I'm gonna do it with contour so you can see like a bang difference. He takes it underneath the jaw, just following this, and I personally take it back here too because I feel like it helps further the illusion. You don't have to do all that if you don't want to be scrubbing makeup off all the way from your elbows, but that's what I do. And again, with contouring, you're wanting to push that back to give you more of a jawline instead of showing that you ate way too much at Thanksgiving. Okay, still just following this line, and I don't just do it underneath where my jawline is, I do it kind of like half and half on top because I feel like it helps the illusion. I may be delusional, I don't know. Okay, so just doing that, I'm going to look straight forward. You see the difference? Now I'm going to take and do this part that Mario does. And you do under here. Trying not to go too far over so that way you can still see a difference. And he takes it down the neck right here, kind of like in a triangle pattern. Because I know there for a while I was bringing it all down my neck, so my neck would be darker, at least like the upper half of my neck, to kind of like illusion that there's a neck there. And it's not all double chin, but you know, this is what he says to do. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more and do a little bit more. I want to make it like a drastic difference so you guys can see. Okay, before I do this side, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do my nose. I'm sure you guys probably are sick of hearing it by now, but my nose does not hold product for some reason. So I try my best, but most of the time it doesn't fully hold it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a M506. It's just like a little fluffy blending brush. And I'm going to use that on my nose and hopefully it'll be okay. Again, dusting off a lot of it. And I just look straight into the mirror and I go up and follow where the concealer was. And then I also bring it up into my brow right here. You can also do circular motions. But as I'm sketching it on, I normally just do like soft strokes. Oh, you can kind of see that already. You want to kind of like pinch the line that you made with the concealer. Now when I put on the brightening powder down my nose, it did make the line a little bit bigger, so kind of going over that a little bit. And taking it up into the brow helps like further that illusion. And then I'm going to turn my head sideways a little bit. And I try to blend it into this part so that way it doesn't look too crazy. Especially because like the tip of my nose is a little thick. But like I take it down a little bit right here to kind of hide that. And I'm just going to take, I'm going to attempt to take like this part of my sponge that doesn't have much product or anything on it, just to tap it. This kind of helps blend it a little bit more into the skin. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on this side with the contour. I'm probably going to just like speed through it unless I think of anything, any little tips, tricks, whatever that I feel like you guys should know as well. Just because we went like really in depth on doing the one side. My nose is doing it again. It's not wanting to hold product, so it's gonna look like crap. Okay, and one thing that you can do to kind of reinforce any highlights if you're missing any of it, you can take your sponge and you can also take the highlighting powder, the brightening powder, highlighting powder, whatever. You just dip right back into your powder. I'm gonna bounce it off on the back of my hand so it's not like too crazy. And you just stamp along where you put the contour. Taking some more, and I'm going to pinch my sponge. And we're going to reinforce this highlight that we have going on right here. I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side, even though I didn't do it earlier, just so it's cohesive. And let's say while you were contouring, you, I don't know, brought it in too far, you can always take your translucent powder or your brightening powder, or you feel like your smile lines aren't bright enough, you could always take your brightening powder and just lightly go over those areas. I'm going to take this on my forehead. You can also take it down the center of your nose again if you need to. I'm probably not going to. I'll just reinforce with like a glittery, sparkly, shiny highlight. Okay, so now that we have the highlighting and contouring down on our face, I'm going to go ahead and bronze my face. Just using like a normal, like warm toned bronzer. And again, with your bronzer, you can also use it to help kind of like reinforce the contour, but like it doesn't make it as harsh because it's not the cool toned contour. So I kind of keep it back towards the back, and I put like a little bit on the apples, blending in the brightening powder that we have, but not going on top of it. Just kind of really using the shape of this brush to my advantage. And I'm going up kind of at an angle to help lift the face. Take the bronzer up on the forehead as well. Then I personally, I like to do the like Nikki Tutorials trick where you take the bronzer on your brush and then you just stamp it on your nose. It's not going to look too great today because my nose looks like crap. I don't know why it does this. It just doesn't want to hold product at all. Okay, bronzer done. Does look a little crazy, we'll blend it out. Now, my favorite blush palette is the Lunar Beauty blush palette. And just using the same brush, I dusted it off and dusted it on a, what is it called, a hand cloth as well. I'm going to take a blush. I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with Stargaze today. I just get a good bit on there because I personally like a lot of blush. And I kind of sandwich it between the bronzer slash contour area and the brightening powder. And I try to keep it up here, especially if I'm doing a look where I'm trying to look snatched and like, you know what I mean? Still going in this upward motion. And then I do bring the residue that's on my brush onto the apples a little bit. Just so that there is color right here as well, but it's not like all right here. Again, starting back here, sandwiched between the brightening powder and the bronzer slash contour area. Just to blend the two together. And then bringing the extra residue down to the cheek, or down to the apple of the cheek. Okay. Then I do take some on my brush and I tap it on my nose just because I like blush on my nose. I don't know. I like the way it looks. I also do take some blush just up here haphazardly. I don't actually like pay it any mind. I don't know. I could cake my whole face in blush, to be honest with you. And then another, I guess you could call it like a tip, hack, whatever, is to take something like this, which is a duo fiber brush. Looks like this, and it's got the brown hairs kind of end like right here, and then it's got the long white hairs as well. I'm not sure if you can see what I mean. But it's called a duo fiber brush, has no product on it, and you just go over the whole thing, and it kind of helps blend it together without moving all your product all around your face. So if you do too harsh of a contour, you can do that where it helps blend it together. Now I'm thinking about naming this video highlighting and contouring for dummies, but like I'm not calling anybody dumb before somebody gets butt hurt. I just thought it was a funny title, especially because when my sister asked me to do a video like this, I kind of like asked her if it was like one of those books, like you know, like Plumbing for Dummies or whatever. I don't know any of the titles of the books, but I thought it could be funny. I'm going to also use this to dust off any extra powder underneath my eyes so it doesn't look cakey. It's not going to remove the highlighting we have there. And then flicking it upwards towards your nose helps blend that line just a little bit more. Granted, like I said today, my nose is not going to look good. She's not cooperating. There are many, 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 many different ways that you can contour your face to make different shapes. A person that's very good to follow if you want to like literally change the shape of your face, her name is Snitchery, I believe, on here. She does a fantastic job at, because she does like cosplay and stuff like that, so she changes the structure of her face all the time. She does a very, very good job. Okay, before we move to like powder, shimmery, bright highlight, I'm going to spray my face. I like to use my Desi spray just because it is skincare, but it also helps melt my face together so it doesn't just look like dry, cakey makeup. Now, when it comes to the glittery highlight, when you think of highlight, most of the time you probably think of this version of highlighting, which is taking a shimmery highlight. Let me open it. Well, it could be shimmery or sheeny. Sometimes highlight has like glitter in it, which this does, or sometimes highlight is just like, it looks like a sheen on your face instead of kind of like this, like my Moonlight powder, how it looks like your skin but better, like that bridal glow. This is more of like Wapow highlight, like you can see it when the light hits it. It's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and start with my nose. And I do highlight my nose because it helps the illusion without me having to contour my nose, because I don't like to contour my nose. Just going to take a teeny little cat paw brush, just something so I can like place the color and not worry about it being all over my nose. I'm dipping into Iced, and I place it right at the tip of my nose. And I also take it right here, and then probably about halfway down my bridge of my nose. Kind of like an exclamation point. And then I just kind of like rub it in with the brush, but try to keep it right where I placed it. Kind of like that. So like if I look straight forward, which I know my nose is crooked, you don't need to point it out, I already know. But you see how it kind of, now it brings the focus just to the center of my nose instead of worried about like the shape of it. I also do take a more fluffier brush, it's about that big, and you can place this anywhere you want the light to hit it and show emphasis. Most people do like a C shape right here. You could also just place it where you want the focus to be. So say it's like right here is where you want people to stare. Because if you have highlight on, people are going to stare. Fair warning. Just keeping it pretty much where my cheekbone is, like right here. But like, you see that? Ideally though, because I do have this bump, you wouldn't want to put it on the bump, because it does make it stand out. If you don't want it, if you don't want people looking at it, I don't give a shit. But now you can see when the light is hitting that, the difference between the contour and the highlight is very, very prominent. But when the light's not hitting it, it's not too crazy. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just keeping it like right here. And also some people do take it like right here above their brows if they want more of that like wet skin look. Just like a tiny bit. I don't always do that, especially with like a super glittery one, but makes for a nice like side shot. Okay. I think as far as a highlighting and contour demo, explanation, whatever, I feel like that was pretty good. If you feel like I need to go more in depth, or if you have questions about certain steps or why I use certain things in certain areas or certain products, please comment down below. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing. For my lips, I used my ColourPop lip liner in the color Curvy. I did a mixture of two of Jaclyn Hill's liquid lipsticks. The one is called Nudie and this one's Oh Hi. The reason why I mixed them is because this one leans very pink and this one is very, I don't know, like yellowy. I'm not sure. There it goes. So I mixed the two so it'd be kind of more neutral. And then I went over it with my Lunar Beauty gloss in the shade Moon. And for eyelashes, I again used the Miami Lashes in Miami Flare. Or Lily Lashes. I don't know what I said. I don't remember what I said, but I feel like I said it wrong. Okay, so just retouching so you guys can see how it looks with everything on. Contouring is one of those things that I don't do every day because it can look really harsh like I have it right now. I did it extra harsh so that way you guys could actually see the product going down and understand maybe what I'm saying. Oh, on my eyes, I keep getting distracted. On my eyes I used Nudie Patootie. If you guys like this whole series that I'm thinking about doing where it's kind of like, I was thinking about naming it like Makeup 101, and then each additional thing could be like something funny like highlighting and contouring for dummies, or blending eyeshadow, rude, blending eyeshadow for dummies, or you know, like something like that with each step to show you guys kind of like how me, a normal person who is kind of good at makeup, I need to stop dissing myself. I'm good at makeup and I'm also not a professional. How I came to get whatever look it is that you're trying to achieve. So please comment down below if that's something that you guys think could be cool, something that we could have fun doing together. I say it as if you guys are in the room with me. I'm not sure if that was focused at all that whole time. But yeah, I hope that you guys like this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and also turn on the bell so that way you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!